The really interesting part of the town is the old quarter, the old narrow streets and the tall Venetian houses with their faded shutters. I think it's a very beautiful part of Corfu. You know, one of the really nice things about these back streets is that wherever you go, you can hear bird songs. That's because everybody here is mad on keeping birds. Bullfinches, goldfinches, linnets, canaries especially. Now, this is something I never succeeded in finding when I was a boy, because it's hidden away in this maze of little alleyways. It's the old Venetian well, Cremasti. 1699, the inscription reads, the work of Antoni Cocchini, for the public good. Now, there's one thing you must do, a thing that everybody, the moment they arrive in Corfu, should do. You must come and pay your respects to the saint.
Yeah. Posso in acqua micro, separatelo? Considera. Che tutti? Zolega. Zolega.
Well, we better have two of the big ones, haven't we?
I think. Do the job properly.
Now, Saint Spiridion is the most important person on the island. In fact, the island really belongs to him. Most of the male children are called Spiro in his honor. And really, the islanders consider the saint to be more important than God. You see, everybody comes to pay their respects to Saint Spiridion. People on their way to work or on their way back from work, fishermen who've had a successful night, old peasant ladies in for a market day. Everybody just drops in and lights a candle to him because they revere him so much and he's performed so many miracles for them. So to ensure that you have a really happy holiday, we light our candles to him. You can't actually see the saint now because his embalmed body is lying in this magnificent silver coffin. You see, up here are all the votive offerings, the thank you tokens for the miracles that he's performed. I should think the ones with ships on are probably from sailors that he's saved from shipwreck. You will be able to catch a glimpse of him when they take him out of his coffin and carry him round the town in grand procession on August the 11th. The August the 11th procession is to commemorate one of Saint Spiridion's most famous miracles, which was when the Turks were besieging Corfu. He was seen to come down out of the sky with a host of angels and besiege the Turkish camp. And just at that moment, a tempest blew up and completely wrecked their camp. And so the Corfiots then managed to counterattack and drive the Turks off. And this is one of Saint Spiridion's most famous miracles. All these people are sick or suffering in some way or another, and they're waiting here in a line on the ground until the procession returns to the church. In the old days, the saint's casket used to be actually carried over the top of them, but now they carry it to one side. And in this way, these people hope that the saint will answer their prayers and be cured. We always used to treat this as a sort of holiday, and we'd come in from the villas in the country where we lived, and I'd make myself sick on ice cream, and we'd have a marvellous day in the town with everybody else in Corfu. Now, when I was a boy, I used to be able to actually see the saint's face, but I think perhaps he's not weathering very well now, because I see they've covered it up with a veil. The origination of the Corfu bands is very interesting. When the British occupied the island, and they had a garrison, of course, in the fort, and they had a band, and so out of politesse, every time they had the saint's procession, the British used to allow the band to march in the procession and play tunes and so on. Then they got a new governor of Corfu, who was rather a stickler for protocol, and he informed dear old Queen Victoria that this was taking place, and he didn't think it was a very good thing because it wasn't the same religion as Great Britain. And so they forbade the band to play in the procession, whereupon the Corfiots got so indignant that they clubbed together and bought their own instruments and formed their own band.
Saint Spiridion was born in the island of Cyprus, round about 270 AD. He died at the age of about 80. According to one tradition, a scent of attar of roses was smelt in the vicinity of his grave, and this attracted the attention of the inhabitants of Trinithus, who dug up his body and found that it was still in perfect state of preservation. For this reason, he was considered to be a saint until Cyprus was taken by the Saracens. After the fall of Constantinople, the body was taken through the Turkish lines, hidden in a sack of straw. After 3 years wandering, St. Spiridion was brought to Corfu in 1456.
Ανώσεως βαρβάρων, Σπυρίδωνα κερκύρας, μέγιστον ακτιμάς.